Hi, I'm Andrew Carter, and I'm here to talk about what we're excited about coming out of WWDC and Google I/O this year. So I've got the iOS beta on my phone. Of course, I installed that day one because I hate battery life and I love crashes. Both companies have introduced a new design system that we're super excited about, just to kind of show off some of the things that I think really display this liquid glass. The lock screen, when you bring this thing down, if you look at kind of the bottom where the glass is meeting the icons, the way that it refracts and it just looks so cool. We can see this tab bar is no longer full bleed. It's kind of floating above our content, and as we scroll around, it kind of gets out of the way, right? So it's really putting the content first, and then it pops up when we need it, and it's just fun. So like, I can switch tabs like normal, but you can see if I kind of click on it, it's all bubbly, and you can see the effects as I move around. These phones have gotten bigger. It's much easier for me to interact with elements that are towards the bottom than it is towards the top, and Apple's kind of embracing that now, right? Google also has a new design system with their Material 3 Expressive Design. I can see the same information, but I can like consume it and digest it and understand it so much faster just at a glance. I think that's very important. The other elephant in the room, of course, is AI integration. We saw both Apple and Google introduce some AI stuff last year, but it didn't quite hit, right? But this year, we actually have, as developers, access to use the on-device LLMs, which is really cool. Those work offline, they're more private, and we have access to it, so we can actually use it. And then we have the, on Apple's case, the private compute cloud, and on Google, there's Gemini cloud things you can do. But that lets us perform things that are more computationally expensive while still retaining some privacy in Apple's case. And then we can also farm stuff out to ChatGPT and other LLMs. And so we have a few different options, right? We can scale based off what our needs are. As developers, it's more exciting to think about use cases where we're able to use natural language to make decisions and transform data and create data. So for example, if I'm working on a grocery store app, but the API for getting the products isn't done yet, I can just define what those grocery store products look like, ask the LLM to make me 50 of these things, and now I can keep working while the API folks are still working on the API, and that lets me develop faster. Same thing for if I'm writing, unit tests or other kinds of automated tests. I can create objects that have really long names or objects that have lots of special characters, and we can make sure that our apps are handling all those edge cases, and it's saving me time as a developer. I don't have to go write all those things anymore. I can just have the LLMs generate those things on the fly. So we're also not just using phones anymore, right? We have phones, we have smartwatches, we have devices like the Meta Quest or the Vision Pro, we have TVs. There's lots of ways that our apps meet the users. And it can be a lot of work to try to make an app that works on all these different devices. But with these new design systems and with Kotlin Compose and with SwiftUI, it's much easier to make what feels like a true almost desktop experience where it feels like a productivity tool or productivity app that I can use on my iPad or my Android tablet. And again, I could take those same experiences and move them to a Vision Pro or a Meta Quest, and now I'm working with spatial computing, right? Where I can have the whole world as my monitor, and I can arrange my workspace however I want, and it's not that much more work to get that done. If you're embracing these different technologies, these companies are making it way, way easier to get this stuff done. They're laying down foundational work for what the next thing is that they know they're going to build that we don't know about yet. So us experimenting with this and us embracing this now sets us up for success for whatever the next thing that they do is. Hey, one day your XR glasses are going to look like this. They're not going to be a big giant thing that covers your whole head up. So start playing with these experiences now because it's pretty easy to do if you're using these system conventions, and you'll take back lots of learnings that you'll then be able to apply to whatever comes next. Apps can advertise different actions they can perform, like ordering a coffee or getting an Uber or sending an email or reading a text message, those kinds of things. So now when I'm doing my Starbucks order, I can just use my voice to say, hey, I want to order a caramel macchiato from Starbucks, and get that thing that Zach wanted too. And it knows how to go into my text messages, see that Zach asked for, I don't know what Zach likes, a tall vanilla latte. And so the system can understand, there's a tall vanilla latte. That's an entity that the Starbucks app understands. Andrew wants a caramel macchiato. It can then take those two entities, let the Starbucks app know via that intent to purchase those things. And now I've just kind of done, I didn't go to the text messages app. I didn't go to the Starbucks app. I just said what I wanted, and the system's able to piece it together and do that action for me. I don't have to go into the app to know if my coffee's done or if my order's on the way. It's just there where I need it. And to me, no user wants to use an app. They want to get something done, right? So any amount of clicking and tapping and searching I have to do, that's work, that's friction. We have less time to show our brand and our messaging, but what we are doing is associating your brand and your messaging with, wow, that was easy, and wow, that was quick, and that was so much easier than competitor, things like that. So as a huge smartphone fan, I think this is a great year to just breathe new life and new excitement into these devices. And so I hope this kind of like ignites a fire for lots of apps to try new things, do exciting new features, embrace these new design systems that are more fun to use, that are more accessible, and get people excited about apps again.